All right, let's talk about something that I think we've all been through. You're shopping for a new computer, you're looking at the specs, and you see these AMD Ryzen processor names. They look like some kind of secret code, right? Well, don't worry. Today, we're going to give you the key.
I mean, just look at these two. At a glance, they seem practically the same. They're both a Ryzen 7, they're both in that 7000 series. The numbers are so close. But one of these is built on technology that's way newer and way more powerful than the other. So how in the world are you supposed to tell the difference?
And hey, if you're looking at that and feeling a little lost, you are definitely not alone. It's a super common frustration. It kind of feels like you need an engineering degree just to pick out a laptop, but trust me, you don't.
Here's the thing. It's not random. Every single part of that long processor name, every number, every letter, it all means something very specific. And once you learn the system, you'll be able to decode any Ryzen chip, just like that. So let's start cracking that code.
Okay, so the first clue is actually the easiest one. It's that first number you see right after the word Ryzen. This little guy tells you the chip's general performance class.
The easiest way to think about it is like car models. A Ryzen 3, that's your reliable, get the job done daily driver. A Ryzen 5 is kind of like the popular sedan, that's just perfect for most people. A Ryzen 7, now you're getting into sports car territory with some real power. And the Ryzen 9, that's the supercar. Top of the line, no compromises. Higher number, more horsepower. Simple as that.
And this is where it all clicks into place, right? You can literally map these tiers to what you do. For example, that Ryzen 5 is the real sweet spot for most of us, handling everything from work documents to great 1080p gaming. But if you're, say, a video editor or a really serious gamer, you should be looking straight at a Ryzen 7 or a Ryzen 9. This lets you immediately filter out what you don't need.
Okay, part 1 is down. Now let's get to the juicy part, that 4-digit number that comes next. This is where most of the confusion comes from, but it's also where the real secrets are hiding.
So that very first digit tells you the year the series came out. A 7 means it's part of the 2023 family, an 8 would be 2024, and so on. Now for a long time, this was the most important number to look at. Bigger meant newer, and newer meant better. But that's not the whole story anymore.
Okay, lean in for this one because this is probably the single most important tip in this whole explainer. You need to pay attention to the third digit. This little number is the real secret. It tells you the chip's core architecture, which is just a fancy way of saying how new the technology inside actually is. This is the real generational leap. This is the number that tells the true story. So let's go back to our original puzzle. The 7840U has a 4 in that third spot. That means it's built on the new Zen 4 architecture. The 7730U has a 3, which means it's using the older Zen 3. So even though they're both sold as 7000 series chips, the 7840U is the true next-gen processor here. Huge difference. Okay, so we've got the performance tier, and we know how to spot the real generation. But what about that letter or letters at the very end? This might just be the most important piece of the puzzle, because it tells you exactly what that chip was built for.
If you see a U at the end of the name, just think ultra-thin. These processors are all about efficiency. They're designed to just sip power, giving you amazing battery life in those really slim, easy-to-carry laptops. Perfect for students or anyone who's always on the move.
Then you've got HS, which stands for High Performance Slim. And this, for a lot of people, is the absolute sweet spot. It gives you some serious horsepower for gaming and creative work, but it's still efficient enough for a laptop you'd actually want to carry around. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
And then you have HX for extreme. When you see this, I want you to just think no compromises. This is raw, desktop-level power that's been crammed into a laptop. You'll find these in the biggest, most powerful gaming rigs and mobile workstations out there.
So that pretty much covers every laptop you're likely to see. But there's one more special suffix, mostly for desktops, that gamers are completely obsessed with right now.
And that suffix is X3D. Now, the 3D stands for 3D V-cache, which I know sounds incredibly technical, but the idea behind it is actually pretty brilliant. So what AMD figured out how to do was physically stack a huge chunk of extra super fast memory right on top of the processor itself. It's not next to it, it's on it. And this gives the chip instant access to way more data than a normal processor. And what's all that extra memory good for? Well, it turns out that games absolutely love it. It lets them load up everything they need right there, instantly.
The result is that these X3D chips are widely considered the absolute kings for pure gaming performance, often beating out chips that cost way more.
Okay, we've learned all the pieces of the code. Now it's time to put it all together. Let's take a real processor name and decode it from beginning to end. Time for the final test.
All right, here's our target, the Ryzen 9 7945HX. Let's break it down together. First up, Ryzen 9. Easy. That's the top dog, enthusiast-grade performance. Next, the number, 7945. That first 7 tells us it's a 2023 lineup model. But what's the real clue? That third digit, the 4. That confirms it's using the new Zen 4 architecture. Perfect. And finally, HX. That tells us its purpose. It's an extreme chip for a beast of a laptop. Boom, decoded.
And just like that, you've done it. That impenetrable wall of numbers and letters isn't so scary anymore, is it? You now have the key. You can look at any AMD Ryzen processor and know exactly what it is, how new it really is, and what it was designed to do.
So the next time you're browsing for a new computer, you're not going to be guessing. You're going to be making a smart choice. The only question left is, based on what you actually need, which code are you going to choose?